just don't seem to be able to do it on their own. Father, be with us this evening as we go about doing the business of Camden County. And Father, we thank you for every household that is represented here this evening. Father, and continue to protect those who protect us, whether they be here or abroad. For this we pray in your most glorious name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Katie.
All commissioners are present.
Are there any amendments to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, after some serious consideration, I'd like to see under public hearing number 2, remove the item to rezone the 10.5 acres owned by Janice Brandt. After looking at the options of what's available, we're better off with the zoning that it has now. So we want to withdraw that from consideration this evening.
Okay.
Mr.
First
Chairman,
item under public hearing number 2.
All in favor of removing that? Okay, we'll remove that item.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Goodman, you want?
yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be premature. We have an item for consideration tonight regarding, and I can't find it immediately on the agenda, reference to the golf course, mini golf course, and certain improvements on that. I'd like to table that because I think we need to have a public hearing to determine the will of the people regarding specifically the portion of it related to the mini golf course. There is a lot of public comment that I've been receiving, and I think we need to slow down a little bit and not proceed with destroying that before we give full consideration to any potential use for it.
Wouldn't we have an opportunity tonight for those public comments to be made?
I would think so.
Yeah.
It's on the agenda. If somebody wants to speak about it, they can speak about it tonight.
In the first public comment section, correct?
And so, but he's made a motion that he wants to remove it. Those in favor of removing it? Those in favor of leaving it?
Thank you.
We'll leave it. Thank you.
Second.
All right, can we get a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Got a first and a second. All in favor? Those opposed? This brings us to the approval of the minutes. If there's no changes to the June 13th and the June 20th meetings, can I get a motion to accept those?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to accept the June 13th, 2024 and June 20th, 2024 special called meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
I got a first and a second to accept the meeting minutes. Those in favor? That passes. This brings us to our first presentation, Vietnam Veterans of America, Camden County Chapter 1137. Mr. Cheney.
Chairman and Commissioners, I'm Homer Cheney. I'm the President of the Camden County Vietnam Veterans here in Camden County. And for the last 8 years, the county and all of you guys and all have been good to our organizations, and we wanted to come here tonight and thank you and present y'all with a plaque that we got to present to y'all for our thankful for y'all helping us and being, good with us. All right?
Thank you.
Okay.
We can come up and get a picture, right? We'll get a picture, Will.
Hold on, we need to stand right there.
right, this brings us to our second presentation, Employee of the Quarter.
Hi, good evening. My name is Amy Peoples. I have the honor to present the Employee of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2024 on behalf of the Camden County Employee Recognition Committee. We received 18 nominations through our online survey platform from employees of various departments and constitutional offices. The committee reviewed each nomination and selected the winner. The employee chosen for this award received 4 nominations. Here's what some of her coworkers had to say from the nominations we received. She is a great worker. She is always willing to help coworkers and customers. She is always a positive person and everyone loves her. I'm nominating this person because she deserves recognition for her dedication and hard work in our office. She has really stepped up to the plate and filled in where she was needed recently due to us being short-staffed. She has had to deal with difficult situations and always has maintained her professionalism. Another one said she has gone above and beyond to help customers and also her fellow coworkers. She has an amazing attitude no matter how busy the tagline is. This young lady selected for Employee of the Quarter was also an Employee of the Quarter recipient back in 2022, and she is still earning accolades from those coworkers who work with her on a daily basis. She works in a very busy, high-traffic office here in this building at the Government Services Complex. So our Employee of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2024 is Ms. Heather Meddy. She's a Senior Revenue Service Representative with the Tax Commissioner's Office, and she is our second quarter Employee of the Quarter. Ms. Heather?
Yeah.
Gotta go again. I need you to stay down there.
Third presentation, Leveraging GIS Technologies.
Good evening. My name is Abby Crosby, and I was the GIS intern for planning and development this past summer. And I'm just going to be telling you a little bit about it today.
That'd be great.
Scott should-
Are we good to go, Scott? Okay, you're good.
It's
Okay. So just a little bit about myself. I graduated from Camden County High School in 2022. So I was born and raised in Kingsland. I've been here my whole life. I'm currently a senior at the University of Georgia, or I will be in the fall. So I graduate next May in 3 years, thanks to dual enrollment, which is really sad, but also really exciting. So many fun things to come. I'm majoring in business management while also earning my legal studies certificate. And then just a few fun facts about myself. I love to hike, go to the beach, read, watch The Vampire Diaries. Pretty simple. So, okay. Moving into like what GIS is and kind of just the core of my internship and my project. GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. It is a computer system for capturing, storing, checking, and displaying data related to positions on Earth's surface. So, and 4 main points. You use it to create geographic data, manage it in a database, analyze and find patterns within that data, and then display it on a map. Before this internship, I actually didn't have any prior experience with GIS, but being a business major and due to how versatile that field is, I was really excited to try something new and learn something new because you never know what you're going to like unless you try it. I also like the idea of being able to do field work over sitting at a desk all day. These beautiful sunny days, it physically hurts to sit inside all day, so that was really exciting to be able to drive around, and now I know the county like the back of my hand, so that's really exciting. So the big question I was asking myself when I started, and I'm sure you're also asking if you're not super familiar with GIS, is kind of what is it, what do we use it for, and why is it important? So it basically tells us what is located where. Just a few examples, we use GIS to pinpoint new store locations, report power outages, analyze crime patterns, forecast and predict weather, and then for So the main goal of my internship was to collect data on all of the road signs and culverts within the county using GIS technologies. So basically, I would use a map to locate these points. Into perspective, there are over 2,000 road signs in Camden County, and then over 1,400 culverts. So with that being said, there's a lot of data to collect, a lot of points to visit, and so in order to get this done and get it done efficiently and effectively, I had to create sort of like a schedule to work towards. And this is one of my favorite things to talk about. I love schedules and lists and itineraries. But I won't harp on this too much, but just kind of like what I did every day. I would be here usually Monday through Friday, 8 to 12. I had another job, and I'm also taking a class this summer, so I kind of had to organize my time wisely. But I would basically come in, catch up on data entry that I maybe didn't get done the day before. Then I would go out to the field and do my thing. So I kind of touched on this just a little bit just a minute ago, but just the process. I was given an iPad where I had access to edit abilities, the field maps. So basically, I would just drive around to wherever I needed to go that day and then collect data on those points. I've mentioned multiple times that I collect data, but I haven't really gotten into what exactly I collect. But it really included the date I inspected it, the condition, so good, fair, bad of the road signs and the culverts, and then any additional notes I had about it. For example, if there was a tree growing around a sign and you couldn't read it, or actually the very first time I went out in the field, there was a dryer in the ditch and blocking the culvert. So I didn't see anything that bizarre after that, but and then if there was just a point on the map that wasn't actually out in the field, or it was in the field but it wasn't on the map, I would add it or remove it. Lastly, I said I would get into this a little bit more, but a part of my job was also to create this dashboard, which kind of just showcases what all I collected into a neat little infographic. I set it up with the conditions and graphs so that each time I entered data under the points on the map, it would update automatically. So all I had to do was format it and add what I wanted to be put on there, and then it did its job automatically. But as you can see, the majority of the signs and culverts were in good condition. Granted, I'm not completely done, but just an idea. And then another example, I had to add 169 signs. So basically they were in the field, they were on the road, but they weren't put on the map. So I just had to add them there. And then the next couple slides are just my resources. I was always taught that it's important to add those, so just for my information and then all of my pictures. But I really just wanted to conclude by saying that I have enjoyed this opportunity so much. I'm so thankful for the positive work environment that I was placed into, and then all of the new knowledge I gained in this new segment that I really didn't have any experience in prior. Everyone I came into contact with was so helpful and patient, and I really appreciate that. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, this brings us to the presentation on the multi-use sports complex by Thomas and Hutton.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we have Jesse and Rebecca here from Thomas and Hutton to just give us the kind of overview of what the complex looks like now, concept plan, as well as what the future may hold as far as just cost projections and what kind of additions and renovations we'd be looking at for this facility. And that clicker should, once he gets up there, you should be able to manipulate it from there.
Perfect. Well, let me speak into this, sorry. Let's see. Yep, that's perfect. Good evening, Commissioners. As Sean mentioned, my name is Jesse Solomon. I'm a landscape architect from Thomas and Hutton. And to my left is Rebecca Montgomery, who's a civil engineer from Thomas and Hutton. We visited the site and investigated it multiple times and studied the opportunities and constraints. We're confident we have created a well-thought-out approach for Camden County's multi-use complex that will benefit current and future residents and is a worthwhile investment. This, when we met on site, I quickly identified 4 main objectives for this space, and it was to improve the fields themselves for players, 2, to increase parking, and 3, to increase and maintain safety and comfort for users of the space, And 4, to allow and plan for proper maintenance to ensure the facility and fields are able to be maintained for years to come. In front of everyone right now is a existing site map of the survey information that we received. I'm sure that all the commissioners are aware of what's currently present out there, but I'd like to note a few things on here that really informed the design. The first thing, you'll notice the blue hatched area. It's got like a cross hatch zone. Those are the existing jurisdictional wetlands, and they have been confirmed. And in general, just a quick overview on wetlands, we, as a general rule of thumb, strive really hard not to impact them unless it's absolutely necessary. It's in addition to the environmental factors to weigh, there's also a lot of expense and time dealing with wetlands. And the good news about this site and where the wetlands currently are is we were really able to fit all the programming and hit all of those goals through it. And I'll also note the existing parking, while it does need to be improved, there are just 58 delineated parking spaces. And currently there is a lack of ADA accommodations, and the facilities ultimately are not supporting the number of families and users for the space. And so this next slide shows what we came up with. Now, this wasn't just we drew this one time. We took multiple iterations and looked at all the areas. I'm happy to answer any questions after this, but I'm going to highlight some of the big level items. The main thing this plan does is improve the fields, and that would, we would recommend sodding, improving and replacing the irrigation that's out there, and expanding the parking lot. So currently, as shown on this plan, and we're confident that we could get that, there's around 215 parking spaces. The first letter, I guess letter B, is we're delineating that as asphalt parking. And then for special events or times when the facility is being used more, we will also have overflow parking lot in the, I guess that's the plan. This isn't a pointer, is it? No, sorry.
There's a laser in it.
Oh, there is. Oh, gotcha. Oh, it is. Okay, awesome. Sorry, I'll speak into the microphone. But this is the overflow parking that I was speaking of. I do want to touch on where we currently have the maintenance area, as is right here, which currently exists out there. There's an overgrown area that used to be the mini golf area. We looked at, we really studied that area in particular and what the best use of that space was. And after several concepts and iterations, we feel like this ultimately is the best location for the maintenance. The nature of the existing wetlands, which they're not as strongly delineated on here, but they have the white hatch. They actually wrap around this zone and create a really nice area that we think would be really nice at screening back of house items. And it ultimately, we felt like for a children's area, if we're going to have a playground, it makes more sense to be located directly adjacent to the fields so that families can better interact with it, and there's visibility at all times. And so we've proposed a smaller playground that's this very colorful zone right here, and then rounding out this master plan to the plan left are improved restroom facilities in order to support larger events for up to 500 people. improved concessions. We think that the existing concessions building can be renovated and better utilized. And then to the left, sorry, my pointer skills are lacking. I should have practiced before. There's a proposed shade structure. And we were able to get a half-mile perimeter loop around the field. And that really is, I'm happy to revisit anything too and go back, but that's really our conceptual master plan. Whoop, wrong way. And then I don't want to get too hung up on some of these images. It's hard to find exactly what we're proposing, but these are some of the elements that we imagined or envisioned. An improved field. We're talking about improving the fencing that's around there and the netting, an inclusive playground, and some additional structures for shade. That's really a big element that I think does need to be incorporated into the plan, is some shade or area of refuge for families. And then next slide, I won't talk too terribly much about this, but this is our demolition plan. I don't know, Becky, if you, there's not a whole lot to share.
Sure. Again, we won't dwell on this plan too very much. The point of this here is to just illustrate the areas that were picked up on the survey that are going to either be, removed, milled and overlaid, things like that, just so that you can see the areas of impact on the existing conditions. I will note that the survey did pick up some soccer fields that are out there. It's worth noting that those are all temporary striping fields. They're not permanently fixed in one place, and that will remain the case under this new site plan as well. So when you see this vast swath of red fields out there, that is just letting you know that those markings, do change from time to time, so they're included in this demolition portion of the plan. Go to the next.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot other than what we did look at routing the water lines and sewer, boring things. I'm a landscape architect, but very important in order to have functioning restrooms. There is lower pressure that's currently out there, and so some of those items were improving that and making sure that we have enough pressure to flush the restrooms. And then I believe all the commissioners have received our conceptual budget of this plan. What we've done, because it is a large number, it's a large park, we've broken it down into different divisions so that everyone can see where those dollars and cents are, and every element. It corresponds with the 11 divisions that are in that cost estimate, or opinion of cost, I should say.
Is the current well sufficient enough for the irrigation?
Yeah, I don't mind. It's currently not. So in the past, there was a lake that was utilized that's on the plan left of this that can no longer be utilized. We think that either the well will have to be, redug, or a new one in order to support the irrigation that's out there. Yep. And that number is factored into that cost estimate. And that's one of, the big number, which you'll see, the Division 1, really just improving the fields takes a lot because of that irrigation number in order to, that's a little bit of an unknown. Hopefully we can utilize the existing well and improve it, but we possibly might have to dig another location.
Hopefully in the future, we might be able to work with that adjacent property owner to pull water back out of that lake.
There is no lake, really, unless you go off to the side. The lake that.
Well, they're
that was in.
redigging.
Are they really?
It's a bar pit.
The one where number 17 used to be?
They're redigging back, where the old walkway used to be in that upper left-hand corner. They're digging a new bar pit there.
Okay.
And it goes to the back of the old well area as well. So that might be something we can look at in the future. But, you know, if we have to do another well, that's going to add to the cost.
Certainly, and I mean, we just didn't study that because that wasn't in the property area, but definitely that is how the irrigation was fed at one point, was.
You said there are presently, right now, 58 parking spaces?
Yeah, I don't want to misconstrue. So there's a little bit more than that. There's 58 delineated parking spaces. There is, currently, so by my math, the rest of the parking spaces are just compacted dirt. And so if we absolutely delineated those and assume every car parks exactly 9 feet on center, I think we have about 150 spaces that are out there now, but they're just not utilized as well. And so we're adding roughly 60 to 70 parking spaces.
And right now, the maintenance barn is over on the bottom right? And you're going to move it over to where the putt-putt golf thing is now? That's what we're talking about?
That is, and I mean, currently these buildings are in, I would say, a state of disrepair. You wouldn't need as many, but yes, the current plan calls for basically aggregating the parking, all of the pedestrian zones into this area, and then utilizing this area for the maintenance zone. Not to say, we do feel like that's the best use of the space, but certainly we're here to do exactly what the commission wants.
But
as far as the
also
park.
some parking there as well, around that area, right?
I think parking back there for staff.
Staff?
Yes, sir. And there is parking for
Our
staff.
whole goal behind this was a safety issue. And what I'm trying to figure out here is, how are we going to have sufficient parking for the 500 kids or 800 kids that are going there now, where they don't have to go all the way out to Kings Bay Road and park vehicles, and then those children walk into this space? That's what I'm asking.
We've certainly improved, and we can look at areas to potentially add more. But this layout, as you can see, is really efficient, and that's one of the zones. Like this area really makes the most sense, we feel like, to just max out the parking there. But right now we're just over 250 spaces.
And we are ADA compliant here, right?
Yes, sir. We would be ADA. We haven't gotten fully into the details. But most of our ADA parking is going to be located right here, and that was something. I'm glad that you brought that up, because I forgot to mention that we would be providing ADA access from these parking spaces to, the entire park, but to the concessions, to the restrooms, to everything.
And the maintenance area, that's just going to be maintenance for this park,
Right.
if I understand that correctly.
Yeah.
All that other stuff, the bottom right, that's all, those buildings are going away.
Yes,
That are
sir.
there now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll just mention another thing that just while we're on the maintenance facility, a reason why this does make a little more sense as well is we've located a dumpster location. And so one of the big things that causes maintenance and issues for roadways are dumpster trucks and large weight vehicles. And so the maneuver that we're asking now is just to come down this road and to back up into this dumpster area so that they don't have to, no large vehicles are having to access this parking lot. So that is another, I would say, pro. There's pros and cons to everything, and we can certainly look at other things, but that's another pro for locating the maintenance facility where it's currently shown.
You're showing a new restroom facility. Where was that at?
Yes, sir. So we believe the restroom facility would be located right.
Right next to
the
playground.
Yes, sir. And ultimately, we would, when we bring on if there was an architect for that playground, talk to them about it. But I think that would need probably about 8 or so stalls at a minimum for the amount of events that the amount of people that are here during a major sporting event. And currently, there's just those 2 that are behind the concession stand building.
And are we going to expand those?
So we think that we still would, in this plan, we would still keep them operational, but we think it would be best to just add, yes, sir.
Jesse, it's not shown on here, but can you touch on the lighting?
Oh, yes. So that's a big component that you'll see also in the cost estimate. One of the things, that again, just want to point on is that these fields constantly change. So if this needs to be or desired to be open at night, we have gotten Chatham Engineering to design a conceptual lighting plan, and this current cost estimate is looking at lighting all of these, so this main field area and then these 2 smaller field areas that are up there. The cost estimate also includes lighting in the parking lot. And one of the big benefits of that, and we talked about parking, is that you have the ability now to stagger games and to go into the nighttime. So that might also help, lighting does help alleviate parking and scheduling a little bit, especially during fall as we have less time in the day, fall and winter. And I'm happy to answer any or.
Anybody from the board got any questions?
Yes, I have a couple of comments. Camden County is begging for recreational opportunities, not only for young people, but to enhance the quality of life for families. Gentlemen, we have a rare opportunity here to do both things. I certainly want to see a soccer program that enhances the ability to draw more people into it, longer hours, lighting, safety, all of those concerns. And I applaud your plan for addressing a number of those plans, a number of those objectives. What I also want to see is, let's don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's work together. Let's have both the putt-putt and the soccer. And I think that's possible. I don't think that was the objective of the study. I think the objective of the study was a predetermined plan to discard that putt-putt facility out of the box. Just throw it away. I didn't ever see it. I heard about it. I haven't walked that property because it was a mess and I couldn't get back there. But I understand that you can now access a good bit of it. There are some facilities there or some features there that are not indigenous to this part of the country. And it's an opportunity to save them because it's going to cost a lot of money to get rid of them. And to get rid of them just for the sake of a maintenance area and some staff parking is totally and absolutely asinine and ridiculous. And I think we as commissioners are going to have to answer for that. And my answer is, let's don't do that. Let's have the putt-putt complex, because it's been pointed out that when you have children of several different ages, those who want to play soccer can be on the soccer fields, and those who are young enough or of a different age or have an interest in playing putt-putt can at the same time, with a different parent or with being with a group of people that your parents trust, go and play putt-putt and be entertained for the evening or the afternoon. Why can't we do that? Why can't we have both? I really think we need to look at that, and I hope that there are people here tonight who will talk about that in ways that I don't even know about, because I was not out there beating the bushes and doing the work that has been done. To discard all of that is wrong. I stand firmly by that. I think we can have both of them, and I think we absolutely need both of them for the quality of life. We don't have a whole lot of land and opportunities in this low-lying part of coastal Georgia. Look at that picture. You see all that wetland, you see all those ponds and things? They're there for a reason. Yesterday pointed out that we had flooding, major flooding, because of where we're located. We got a jewel there. Let's don't throw it away. That's all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Sure.
I agree with you. I don't have any problem with putt-putt golf or any business in Camden County. As a matter of fact, I'd like to see more. However, that one there, I was out there yesterday as well. I've been through that. I walked through it myself. I don't think you can bring it back, but maybe you can. However, I do know that the safety of these kids is our number one responsibility. And we have a soccer complex out there that needs work done on it, needs a lot of work done on it. The putt-putt golf, in my opinion, should be moved out towards Kings Bay Road. I took the leisure of actually contacting the owner of the property right there, Tri-Lane Rentals, and asked him if he'd be willing to sell a piece of that property for a putt-putt golf course, which to me is even better. You've got road access, you've got visibility, no one has to try to find the place. You ride down to Kings Bay Road, you look to your left, there's an open field, it's wide open for putt-putt golf. I'm for that wholeheartedly. We had this discussion several months ago, and the reason that we had it is because we went out there and we saw that this place was in disarray. No one was maintaining it. It looked that way anyway. I'm not throwing rocks at anybody. However, I would not have wanted my kid out there in those potholes trying to play soccer. I would not want my kid to have to walk all the way from Kings Bay Road into that soccer complex, through cars, through traffic, to get there. I would not want that. Now, if someone, a business entrepreneur person that wants to start a business, wants to do that, then I'm sure a bank would loan you money to buy that property on Kings Bay Road, and you could start a business. No one is against that. Not me, not anybody else. I love business. However, in this capacity, you're moving that building that's got all those lawnmowers and trucks and all of that stuff, riffraff, really, that needs to go away. That's also dangerous for kids, because I guarantee you, when you're not looking, those kids are climbing on those tractors and those things. So that needed to go away. When that goes away, that gives us more parking down here on the right-hand side. I thought and you could use that as an overflow around the barn up there, or whatever you call it. But when we had this meeting last time, I asked if anyone was interested in starting that business. Where's the SWOT analysis? Where's your business plan? Because just to say that you're going to do something isn't going to make it. I started a business years ago, walked into the banks with intangible assets, and they laughed me out of that bank. You gotta put your money where your mouth is. You gotta put your heart where your mouth is. You gotta go in there and you gotta take over and make this work. It's good for these kids, the soccer teams or the soccer people. I never played soccer in my life. My grandkids did, but I still remember having to go out there and sit and fight the sand gnats just like everybody else did. But my kids and my grandkids and all of them, they loved it. To me, I'm not saying don't have a putt-putt golf course. If you want it, build it, and maybe they'll come. But that's not what this is. This is for something that's substantial, that has a lot of kids and a lot of interest in our county, and that's what I think we should do. And that's my reasoning behind it. It's more of a safety issue at this point than anything else.
Any other commissioners got any comment? No? Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, this brings us to our first public comment section of the night. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes and agenda items only at this time. Is there anybody registered, Katie?
Yes, sir. Ms. Dawn Gray?
Good evening, Dr. Dawn Gray, St. Mary's, Georgia. As many of you already know, I was part of the group that went out and demonstrated that the mini golf course could be repaired and it could be revitalized. We were told that we needed to wait because we were anticipating a safety check from you to determine whether or not it was safe to continue that revitalization. To date, I'm not aware of any safety check that has been conducted so that we can continue the work that we did. With regards to a business plan, we are not looking to start a business. We're looking to preserve what we already own with the county. To take something that is a resource that's already existing, to turn it into a storage facility for equipment seems ridiculous to me. When we're being told that the only equipment that's going to be stored there is the equipment that's going to be used for that facility, then I'd like to know where the equipment that is currently used for maintaining the rec center, where will that equipment be stored? And if that equipment belongs to the PSA, perhaps the PSA should be responsible for providing storage area for it. If the equipment belongs to the county, then perhaps it can be moved to the 8th Street location up here in Woodbine. But to take away a resource that's available. As a mental health clinician, one of the things that I focus on is that we make decisions in life. But as long as we're living, we have the opportunity to change our mind. When I recognize that perhaps my thinking is faulty, I have an opportunity to correct that. And you gentlemen have that opportunity here. You have an opportunity to correct, at least to investigate the possibility, to say that it's not a possibility and that the only option is a business. Then I wonder, is that how we should look at the gun range and including the soccer complex? 800 children, that's a lot of families that could use this. And if we're going to have lighting, it expands the opportunities even greater. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Roger Shaw?
I want to speak at the end.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, anybody wish to speak to the board?
Good evening. My name is Michael Lake. I'm the president of the Camden Soccer Club. What I'm holding is our registration for spring of last year. It is 40 pages of kids' names, of teams ranging at the lowest 7 members for our youngest under 4s, all the way up to 13 and 15 players. 40 pages of it. Okay? Over the past several years, we have served over 5,000 kids and numerous families, from grandparents to aunts and uncles to other people that have been out there. Just this year, we have had multiple injuries due to potholes, improper playing service. I've held my breath. If you can see the map where the road goes in there, where it makes that turn, well, I've watched families pushing strollers almost get hit by cars going in and out of that area. I've watched it happen. I've watched kids dart out into that area, and it can't continue. And just for the playing surface alone, we had 8 significant injuries this year that went on us for the playing surface. It's got to be done. As it stands at this moment, there are sprinkler heads leaking out there that are taking away approximately 20% of our playing surface that we cannot fix, or that I've been told on multiple occasions cannot be fixed. And it takes away. It puts a strain on us. It puts a strain on the kids. It puts a strain on the parents. We have all kind of parents out there trying to walk around. Before they started digging the hole, used to use the old sidewalk around there, pushing strollers, and stuff like that. We strongly endorse this plan. Parking has to be expanded, safety has to be, I don't want to see another kid run out in front of a car going around that turn. I watched it at our camp just this summer. I watched it happen a month and a half ago, okay? And I have to live with that. I've been in law enforcement for 31 years. I've seen one too many dead kids, okay? And I don't want to see it at my soccer complex. I've been involved in soccer all my life, both as a coach and an administrator. Even with this program, it's probably not enough. You're probably going to have to expand it. We just hope that we continue to maintain what we've got and build on it for the future.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak?
I'd like to, Bob Bauer, Harriet's Bluff. Don did a fantastic job over there on that golf course. But my problem is, you want to tear it down and move it someplace else when you got 90% of a project already done, and you want to tear it down and move it someplace else? That's stupid. Plain outright stupid.
Hi, I'm Jenny Rivers. I'm one of the board members with Camden Soccer. I'm from Kingsland. So, sorry, I'm very short, 5 foot here. So I want to talk about the safety of the fields. Mike addressed the concern of kids running out in the parking lot. One of the things you all may not be aware, we've had multiple cars, the plastic fencing there in the front. They've actually driven through that fencing onto the field. Because all it is a fence, and the cars park right against it. There's no curb, there's no pavement, there's nothing other than a plastic fence that we put up years ago that keeps cars from driving onto that field. I have had, just last season, we had a mom, she panicked and she thought she put it in reverse, but she put it in drive and she went through the fence and she hit one of the goals. That's why we keep space between the fence and the goals, because people run through it. They don't mean to, but there's no barrier really there. The other thing is, Mike talked about our playing surface. My own daughter almost broke her wrist playing on our fields because we have holes. We fill them every day we go out there. We have to go get buckets of dirt and fill them. This season alone, Gordon and I have been talking about the layout for the fields, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to fit them. But losing 25% of the playing surface for this season, I don't know where we're going to put all of our fields safely, because the back area has one of the heads is leaking, and then right there in the front where we usually have all the little kids, there's a huge, like the little birds bathe in there every day because there's just water sitting there. So we don't know how we're even going to fit kids this season out there because of the lack of playing surface, because of the deterioration in the field surface. I understand there's a lot of anxiety and angst against what might happen with the mini golf, and I don't have much to say on that because it doesn't pertain to me. Only thing I'm concerned about is making sure that all the kids in Camden County that want to play soccer have a nice, level playing field that is free of holes, that doesn't have water sitting on them, and have easily accessible parking, so they're not being hit by cars or having cars run through the fence onto our fields. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come on up, sir.
Commissioners, Noah Ring from Kingsland. I think Commissioner Goodman's dead on about this. As the president of the club said, there's roughly, I did the math, he said 40 teams, 15 players max, that's 600 kids. Currently enrolled in Camden County schools, there's 10,000. So that means if those are the only kids in the school, that's 6% of people. I think the rough numbers are $20 million for this. That's a lot of money we can invest in other things that are needs. My mom always taught me, being in a conservative family economically, it's needs over wants. We need to either rebuild or renovate our jail. We need to hire more deputies to keep our streets safe. Just today, there was somebody driving 130 miles an hour, multiple people driving over 100 miles an hour down 95. I think that we need to look at that stuff. Also, you guys call this a multi-sports complex. I went to UGA, I got a little bit of brains. I only counted one sport, and that was just golf. That was just soccer. No love for the golf. Commissioner Turner, I respect you, but you said you want to move it. That would cost so much more money on the county. And the county's not always focused on a business being like the gun range, being profitable year 1 or even year 4 or 5 like we're at now. I think that if you guys put this on SPLOST with a low turnout, you could cause the entire SPLOST to get denied. Because I think a lot of people out there, as you guys see online, think that $20 million on this is crazy. Wow. How much is it? 4 million? $4 million is still crazy.
And it's not going on SPLOST, but anyway.
So $4 million divided by kid, you're spending $6,700 per kid per year. That's a lot of money that we could put to backing up our deputies and other things, stuff that we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak?
Janet Heath, Woodbine. Commissioner Chairperson, I would like to thank our Commissioner Laney Brandt for taking off the agenda tonight the rezoning of property to industrial in a neighborhood that is an historically and culturally active, sensitive residential community. And it has been since 1873 and 1895 when the first churches were built in that area. And when a school was built in 1920s that was funded by the residents of that residential community before Camden County was funding schools for that particular population. They've just renovated that Rosenwald School. The community is vibrant. It's a wonderful community, and it needs to stay residential without encroachment from things that might come on 17. So maybe this property could be rezoned residential for moderate-priced housing, that maybe senior housing. We have two commissioners, one who owns land, one who builds. And Chairman, I would also like to comment on the jail sprinkle heads going in. You and I visited that jail. We saw the sprinkle coming in through the ceiling, through the windows, through the doors during a thunderstorm. This is a fire hazard that has to be corrected at our jail. And since that visit, community members have gotten together, and we've already provided 400 books to the library at the jail, and we have another that many more coming to the jail, so there's something to do there. So when you have your SPLOST meeting tomorrow, 3 to 6, at the Resiliency Operations Center, which would be a good chance for citizens to see that new building, I hope you will put SPLOST on the SPLOST, the jail renovation and rebuilding of the jail with enough money to accomplish it at the top of the SPLOST agenda, and perhaps getting on the vote for November, because it might actually help the voter turnout in November. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come on up, Cody.
Afternoon, gentlemen. My name is Cody Smith. I live in unincorporated Camden County on Point Peter. From what we saw today in the presentation, it looked like a lot of the parking needs were actually adequately met by moving the unattended storage buildings and including that overflow parking. And also what we have met is the improved playing fields for the soccer players. Something that was mentioned was staff parking and maintenance being moved to the mini golf course. Currently, that is being maintained by the Camden Soccer Club. They do the restriping, and I imagine the mowing out there. Not the mowing, okay. But they do the striping. They maintain a lot of their own fields. They're putting up their own fences, so I don't know how much maintenance is going to be getting done there. And is that by the county, or is that going to be by the PSA? Because the PSA has plenty of other properties where they could store their derelict equipment. So I believe the parking needs are met. I believe the improvements to the field are met. We could spend no money on tearing down the soccer field and building a new maintenance and just ask the PSA to take their equipment. So I do believe that there's still some work to be done on improving that plan that we have here. We have a good start in meeting everybody's needs. That's the soccer players and those families that would like to play putt-putt. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, seeing no one, we'll move on. This time we need to adjourn the regular meeting and convene a public hearing.
Motion to adjourn the regular meeting, Mr. Chairman, and convene a public hearing.
Second.
Got a first and second to adjourn the regular meeting, convene a public hearing. All in favor? Okay, we're now in the public hearing. This is to receive comments from the public regarding the amendments to the official code of Camden County, Part 1 related laws for Article 8, hotel motel taxation. Who's giving that, Sean?
Mr. Chairman, this is really just to approve or seek to approve in the future in August to increase the hotel motel taxation rate from 5% to 6% in line with the municipalities.
Okay.
So with that, we can receive comments on that.
All right. Does anybody from the public wish to speak in favor of this item? Anybody wish to speak in opposition? All right, we'll move on. And the other item was removed, so now we need a motion to adjourn the public hearing and reconvene your regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right, we're back in the regular meeting. First item was removed. This brings us to Nancy.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, Commissioners. And this agenda item is for budget amendments for the fiscal year 25 budget that just started a couple of weeks ago. And the more significant budget amendments, which you have a detail in your packet on, one is to establish a general fund budget item of $750,000 for the Joint Comprehensive Transportation Plan with corresponding offset revenue expected from GDOT's raise grant reimbursement for the same amount. And originally, this was budgeted under SPLOST 8, and a budget amendment is included which reallocates this expenditure to be allocated among the cities and the county on the SPLOST 8 fund budget. And also an increase to the general fund expenditures for additional insurance costs. At the time the budget was adopted, the actual costs for the insurances were not available, but the budget was increased by 20% for all policies as an estimate. However, this was not enough to cover the increased costs of the law enforcement liability and the excess law enforcement liability policies. Those premiums increased by approximately $350,000 from the prior fiscal year to $817,000. So those budget amendments are before you, and the Finance Department recommends approval.
Can we get a motion on this item?
Motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve the fiscal year 25 budget amendments as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, you have a first and second to approve the budget amendments. All in favor? Those opposed? All right, this brings us to the
Thank you.
next
Thank you,
item.
Nancy.
This is an intergovernmental agreement with Camden County Public Service Authority for human sources services.
Right. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Mr. Boatwright, Mr. Collins. It's good to see you at the dais. Good to see you up there. As you guys are all aware, surely the Camden County PSA has been looking for some help and guidance with employment and labor-related issues. And their board has recommended entering into this memorandum of understanding with the county so that my HR department can step in and help them through this period. As stated in the document that you each have in front of you, my team, consisting of myself, my HR generalist, Amy, that was up here earlier, my benefits specialist, and my safety and risk manager, would be assisting with things like job description creation, recruiting, onboarding, benefits enrollment, tax documentation, in addition to labor and performance-related issues like employee discipline and performance evaluations. My team stands ready to answer the call for the common interests we have with the PSA, but there are a couple of points that I do want to make crystal clear in this public forum as we move forward here tonight. At no point would this agreement create an employer-employee relationship between you, the Board of County Commissioners, and the public Service Authority. My team will take action and make recommendations based on our expertise within the Federal Fair Labor Standards Act and the Georgia Employment Law, but ultimate decision-making authority regarding employment issues, specifically hiring, termination of employment, and discipline of employees, falls with the PSA management and the Public Service Authority Board. Okay, so with that, I'll take any questions that you may have, and I ask that you consider approving this MOU.
So basically, we'll be acting as a contractor for the PSA.
That's correct, yes, sir.
All right, can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
The first and second, any discussion? No? All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, and I just wanted to just inform the board, so the city of Kingsland's actually handling the financial side of services for the PSA now. So we're just picking up the HR side, just, you know, assisting them on making recommendations and assisting them with their policies.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're up to item number 4, Hazard Mitigation Plan Update Award.
Good evening. I'm requesting that the board approve a $35,000 grant from the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. These grant funds will be used to hire a consultant to update the hazard mitigation plan. Per federal mandate, the county's hazard mitigation plan must be updated every 5 years, and our plan expires August 2026. $1,555 in local match is required and will be provided in kind with county staff time. The EMA Director, Chuck White, would like to say a few words.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This is a very important plan, one of the most important plans that we do, and I know that you hear about a lot of different plans. This is a multi-jurisdictional plan, so it will cover the cities, the county, and it really is an every 5-year big undertaking. I want to go through some of the benefits of this plan quickly. Risk reduction. This plan will help us identify the potential natural hazards and implement measures to reduce those. It's a proactive approach to minimize the loss of life and property. Increased awareness. Develop a hazard mitigation plan will raise community awareness about local hazards and the importance of preparedness. This education fosters a culture of resilience and self-reliance for our community. Improved emergency response. The hazard mitigation plan outlines strategies and resources for effective disaster response, ensuring our communities can react swiftly and efficiently when disasters occur. There are economic savings. Mitigation efforts can significantly reduce the financial burden of disasters and recovery by minimizing damage and the need for extensive rebuilding. Communities that develop and implement comprehensive hazard mitigation plans can earn points under the community rating system. These points are awarded for activities that go beyond the minimum National Flood Insurance Program requirements, including the identification and mitigation of flood hazards, which provides premium discounts for both our residents and our businesses in Camden County, and that's a big bottom line issue. And finally, having an approved hazard mitigation plan qualifies Camden County for potentially millions in federal grants administered through the state of Georgia by FEMA and other federal agencies. It is a key plan for the cities and the county, and it's the go-to and the first question asked when we're seeking federal funding for a lot of these grants. So it's of extreme importance to us. This is going to require a lot of outreach, a lot of community engagement, and it will take over a year to complete this plan, working collaboration with both local, state, federal, and especially our community. And it's exciting to say that now we will have a resiliency center to house all of those work groups, all of those public engagement meetings that will be part and parcel to this plan. And I appreciate your attention and allowing me to provide how important this plan is to you tonight. Thank you.
All right, can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, we got a first and second.
Question?
Sure.
So our share is only $1,555.56?
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes, sir, and it will be in kind.
Wow. Okay.
Any more discussion?
Nope.
All in favor? Motion carries.
You may do the other one, then we'll do the picture.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm requesting that the board approve a $750,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity project for a joint comprehensive transportation plan. This project is a strategic plan initiative. These grant funds will be used to fund the development of a Camden County Joint Comprehensive Transportation Plan to identify crucial infrastructure projects essential for the future. The project will create an inventory of existing conditions, future infrastructure needs, formulate recommendations, and produce a final transportation plan document. There is no match on this project. At this time, I would like to approval to accept the award as presented.
Okay, this is part of the budget changes that we just made. Can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I got a first and second to approve this grant award. Any discussion? Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All in favor? Motion carries. All right, you got some big checks for us?
Yep. Picture time. Right. You know, I had radiation and it's affected my thermostat. I just freeze to death. Air is blowing on me like that. Yeah.
This brings us to item number 6. Seth, you're giving this one?
Thank you, Commissioner. Seth Collins, Deputy County Administrator. Scott, if you'll put that presentation up, thank you. So tonight, the first agenda item I'm bringing before you is change orders for the Resiliency Center. But before I go over that, if I can, I want to give each of you a brief update on where we are at the Resiliency Operations Center. So currently, we receive funding from CDBG MIT of roughly $3.5 million, and you gentlemen allocated roughly $1.3 million in ARPA funds towards the Resiliency Operations Center. In addition to this, Camden County was blessed to receive congressional direct spending funding from Congressman Buddy Carter's office of $1.24 million. So in total, we have almost $6.1 million in funding for this project. For total expenses for the project is roughly $4 million for the actual construction from B. James Construction, and I will say they have done a fantastic job on renovating Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the Resiliency Center. Also, we have $530,000 for our consultants with Robert Civil Engineering. We have almost $800,000 in technology services, almost $145,000 in furniture, $90,000 in grant writing and grant management. Actually, Thomas and Hutton were our grant managers for the project. And then right now we have estimated, we're still working on getting quotes, but right around $125,000 for the fire hydrant that we are required to place on the property. So the total expenses for the project is roughly $5.7 million. And if you remember, I just went over, we received almost 6.1. So out of the remaining funds, like I just said, we have roughly $6.1 million in funding and $5.7 million in expenses. So we have remaining funds of $372,320.32. Right now, our expenditures paid to date are right around $4.6 million, and right now we have about a little over $1 million left in expenditures. So total, like I said earlier, $5.7 million. So the original contracts with Roberts Engineering to provide the administrative and construction services for just phase one of the Resiliency Operations Center was $260,000. And then for Brian James Construction, it was roughly $2.8 million for the renovation of the old Georgia Power building. Over the life cycle of this project, we've had several change orders, and these big amounts are from adding phase two, which is renovating a portion of the Resiliency Operations Center to put our planning office there. So originally the budget was $260,000. We had about $270,000 in change orders with Roberts Engineering, which brought it to $529,703. And then with Brian James Construction, it was originally $2.7 million, or $2.8 million, forgive me. And then $1,257,257.23 in change orders. So brought them at right at $4 million. But like I said earlier, it was mainly from adding phase two is what brought those change orders up. But in addition to that, knowing that the Georgia Power building before we took ownership of it had been renovated 3 to 4 times. So we ran into some issues that were behind walls and unforeseen issues, unfortunately. So right now, the remaining change orders needed to finish out the project is the removal of the BDA radio system. Because of of us building the tower, we no longer need this system, so we can receive a credit of $32,000. If you allow it. Then also the return of the roof allowance for phase two of $20,000, and then also an electrical credit of $1,680. Where we will have some cost is for exterior painting of the entire building, and then also the removal of the payment shelter that's out front. If you remember in Georgia Power, we could pay our power bills there, but to remove that payment shelter, and that's roughly $27,000. And then lastly, for $770 is to add a glass transaction window in the front lobby. It would make it easier on Miss Gail Cabanas, who works at our front desk up there, to take cash flow just like we do at our curbside windows downstairs. So in total, the change orders I'm asking for approval for today would actually credit the county back $25,563. And that's the end of my presentation. And so if I'm asking for the approval of the Resiliency Operations Center change orders presented before you today.
All right, can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, we got a first and second to approve the change orders. Any discussion? I got one question. The remaining funds, will they be classified as ARPA funds and returned to that?
Yes, they will.
Yeah, I mean, so, we haven't spent all of the ARPA funds, so predominantly what we would do is use the funds that we got from the CDS funding from Congressman Carter's office.
Use their money first.
Apply 100% of those funds, and then any funds that we have remaining in ARPA, if there are any left, we'll be able to reclassify those funds to another project that may be in need, if there are some issues that we're facing in lacking of funds on other projects.
All right, we got a first and second. All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you. And actually for this next item, I'm going to ask our purchasing officer, Ms. Kelsey Kelly, to come up for agenda item number 7.
Good evening, Commissioners. This agenda item is for your consideration to approve the Resiliency Operations Center Phase 2 furniture purchase from Mason Incorporated. Purchasing received a quote from Mason Furniture with state contract pricing for Hahn Furniture. Camden County is using the same vendor, Mason Incorporated, from Phase 1 Resiliency Center Operations Furniture. Mason's bid came in at $60,682.73. Staff recommends approval to purchase the Resiliency Operations Center Phase 2 furniture from Mason Incorporated. Thank you.
Can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve as presented, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Got a first and second to purchase this furniture. Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. So the next item on the agenda is the fire protection sprinkler system replacement for the Camden County Jail. So to give you a backstory on this, the State Fire Marshal's Office came and visited, the Georgia Fire Safety Commissioner's Office completed an inspection of the Camden County Jail. The State Fire Marshal concluded that the jail's fire sprinkler system was not in compliance. Out of a list of a few items they gave us, this was a significant one. Camden County Administration was alerted on June 7th that the inspection took place at the jail, and immediately following the notification of the violations by the State Fire Marshal, we put together a plan of corrective action. So the issues that needed to be corrected at the Camden County Jail in terms of this were the sprinkler system was showing signs of leakage and corrosion, which needed to be replaced, missing execution. I may have just killed that word, but I apologize, needed to be replaced on the sprinkler heads, and then the gauges on the sprinklers also needed to be replaced. So to correct these violations, we got a quote from Brunswick Sprinkler Systems at roughly $71,000 to replace approximately 200 sprinklers at the Camden County Jail. And so it is staff's ask that you approve the replacement of the fire protection system at the Camden County Jail with Brunswick sprinklers.
All right, can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? These are probably original sprinkler heads in that jail, so.
They are, and I think as I know Ms. Heath spoke earlier on, that they've had noticeable signs of wear, and that some of them were leaking. So this will be a good corrective action for us.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. This to number 9, lease agreement, Old School Renovation Committee.
Yes, and I'll take this one as well. At your direction, I've been putting together leases for the county and just getting official documentation put together. And so it come to my attention we needed a lease for the Old School Renovation Committee for the old schoolhouse here in Woodbine. I have worked with Miss Brenda Chancey, the secretary of the Old School Renovation Committee, who's actually here tonight, and I appreciate you coming to put this lease agreement together. There is one change that I want to read, if I can, verbatim, that we've had to add to the agreement, and so I'm going to read that now, so if y'all will bear with me. So what's added to this agreement is tenants shall maintain and repair the interior portions of the premises such that they remain in good condition and repair and replace such interior portions of the premises as necessary. Tenants shall also keep the premises well lit and change light bulbs in the premises as necessary. Tenants shall reimburse landlord upon demand for reasonable cost of maintenance, repairs of replacements to the premises necessitated by the willful misconduct of the tenant, the occupying agency or occupying agency's invitees. In the event that the tenant constructs or erects any additions and or improvements on the premises, the landlord shall have no obligation whatsoever to service, replace, and keep and maintain the same in good order and repair. So what I'd like to point out is if the HVAC system would have to be repaired, it would be incumbent upon the Old School Renovation Committee to do so. We've also required that they have $1 million in insurance for the property, which they have, and they've provided us. They've been a valued partner to the county and have really done a great job at maintaining that building. And so it's staff's recommendation to approve a lease agreement with the Old School Renovation Committee.
Get a motion on this item?
Make a motion to approve the lease agreement with the Old School Renovation Committee with appreciation to them for the job that they are doing maintaining that nostalgic old treasure for some of us. Thank you.
Second. All right, we got a first and a second.
Did.
To approve the lease agreement. Discussion, yeah?
Yeah, I was just curious, what is the term of that agreement? Is it specified?
It is specified, and I apologize, I should have said that. It's for 5 years, but, they can, I'm sorry, guys, but it's for 1 year, and it's for $1 a month, so $12 a year for them to have the lease, and that it will renew for 5 years, and then we can come back to the lease agreement after that time.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, and they gotta maintain the building and everything.
That's right. And yeah, that's correct.
Utilities and all.
That's correct. And they have to pay for all utilities, and cleaning fees.
Did you say they have to mow the grass?
No, we'll maintain the lawn maintenance out there for them.
We gotta do the courthouse, so we're right there.
Might as well do the rest right there.
All right, we got a first and second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
All right, and me
Item
again.
number 10.
Item number 10, the purchase and installation of the gun range pistol canopy acoustics. So if you remember, the board tasked administration with consideration of the gun range noise out at the gun range. And so one of the ways that the board decided to mitigate the gun noise was by allocating $120,000 in this year's budget to approve the purchase and installation of the acoustic sound deadening system for the pistol canopy. And this is for $120,000 with Troy Acoustics. And it is staff's recommendation for the approval of the purchase and installation of the acoustical sound deadening system for the Two Rivers Rifle pistol canopy from Troy's Acoustics.
Can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We got a first and second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, this brings us to item number 11.
Mr. Chairman, this is we just held the first public hearing to increase the hotel motel tax from 5% to 6%. This is to consider that. This is the first hearing, and staff is requesting to waive the first hearing of the amendments to the official code of Camden County, Part 1, related laws, Article 8, hotel motel taxation by resolution.
So you're asking for a vote on it now?
Right, well, no, just to waive the first
Just to
reading.
waive the
Yes,
first.
sir. We'll have one more in August.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion on this to waive the first reading?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
First and second to waive the first reading. Any discussion? All in favor? We've been working on this a long time. All right. This brings us to the calendar.
There's no changes to the calendar at this time.
County Administrator comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just like to thank Abby for all of her hard work with the Planning and Development GIS office, and it's really cool to see when she first started and all the hard work that she's done driving in and around the county. And I do want to preface that all of the data that she showed you earlier, that's just the unincorporated section of the county. That's not including all the cities and the drainage and signs that they have. So it's kind of cool to see where we've been and kind of where we are now, because we did have some of this data from, over a decade ago, and now to have somebody come in and actually help us update that, it's amazing to be able to have her come back to where she lives and help us out, and I wish her the best of luck in her final year at UGA. I'm pretty envious of that. I wish I could go back and relive some of the college days again. So good luck, and we wish you the best in your endeavors. And then just a big kudos to all of our staff for working so hard on all of the grant opportunities that you've seen before you tonight. That RAISE grant, I believe, will prove to be an invaluable asset and a tool for us to be able to use into the future as we take a look at a really hard look at our current infrastructure systems and really plan for some of the expected growth that we're experiencing on the south and north ends, and even, growing into the center locations of the county, as well as, transportation is a big thing, and obviously that will coalesce and actually even tie into the hazard mitigation plans that we have to update every 5 years. So there's just so much that gets intertwined, and we're really excited about that. One thing we have not highlighted yet on social media, but it will be soon, is Seth and Jared and some of our animal control officers had the opportunity to go down to Orlando and receive an award from the Best Friends organization. They received the Advocate of the Year for a public entity award. I don't think they really give out too many of those, and this is really within the first year that we've implemented the TNVR program through animal control. So just wanted to give them a big shout out for all of their hard work and dedication that they're doing. Also to all the volunteers that we've had assist us with that. They've done an outstanding job, and we're forever thankful for everything that they do to assist us with that. Again, if anybody does want to volunteer or sign up to be a volunteer for that program, please feel free to reach out to us at the county. Get with Seth, get with Jared. We'd love to meet and talk with you and help you out with that. And I believe that's all I have.
And again, the RAISE grant is for a county-wide transportation study. It's not just the unincorporated area. It's all the cities are included in that.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Sean, did you do your University of Georgia 2 years early like Abby did?
No, sir. I went
either.
I went a different route. I went military first, and then I came back. I was a non-traditional student.
And
So
thank you for
a
your
little bit
service.
different. Thank you.
All right, this brings us to the final public comments of the night. We'll be limited them to 3 minutes. Any registered speakers?
Yes, first is Mr. Sher Vickers.
Hello, Chairman and Commissioners. I'm asking for help. I've tried Georgia Legal Aid. I've tried the Georgia Bar Association. We were served with a writ. I live at Southeast Georgia Consolidated Housing Authority, 4 blocks from here. We were served with a writ only because I asked for our floor to be repaired. My brother has a disability. He had a stroke, and he has a VP shunt that goes from the belly up to the brain to keep fluid off. So I'm his full-time caregiver. So I was a personal chef, and I had to stop what I was doing to care for him by the state of Georgia. We were served with a writ. The judge signed off on it. I never was served any paperwork or any hearings. I've tried everywhere. No one will help. We had neighbors that harassed. I have video footage threatening me, harassing me. I've called Camden County Sheriff Department. They're pretty aware of me going down there, filing reports. I've contacted the United States Senator John Ossoff and Senator Warnock, and I've signed consents with them, but they wanted to know what my commissioners have done. So I've never been to a meeting, and this is my first time, so I was giving you the opportunity to come present my case. And pretty much we have mold in our apartment. I've contacted also Jackie Oden of the College of Agricultural and Environmental Science of the University of Georgia, and she studied mold, and she said it's probably best for me to leave. We wanted to stay at our home. We've been there for 9 years, but the mold is affecting our health, so I would like to leave. Judge Jennifer Lewis has ordered a judgment for the Housing Authority to pay me back the funds that I put into the apartment to try to fix and make it livable for my brother, but I never received those funds. Stephen Blackerby is their attorney, and with everything that's going on with the mental and physical, I still pay my rent every month, and they mail our checks back for the past 5 months, so I don't know what to do. I just asked them for help.
All right, thank you. Seth, you want to talk to her after the meeting? Seth will get with you.
Yes, and I
Thank
have
you.
Ms. Vickers' contact information as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And I'm calling her tomorrow. I already talked to her.
Anybody else registered?
Yes, the next is Mr. Roger Shaw.
Roger Shaw, 30 Marymount Court, St. Mary's. I could not believe that in the 27 June Tribune, Georgia, that the commission had set aside $120,000 for noise suppression at Two Rivers Gun Range. With the money that's spent, you could have fixed the sprinklers at the jail. Also, you could have bought 2,192 acoustical earphones. And I thought that I had made a cogent argument that debunked the need for acoustical baffling. One, Mr. Manning stated before the commission that he only hears the gunfire when north out of the south. I gave you NASA climate data that said the noise is only, the wind is out of the south, only less than 10% of the year. In the enumerations of the noise sections that he talks about, he doesn't tell you that in the enumeration section, it doesn't say anything about range noise. So that's no good. Okay, next thing, I told him that if he hears any noise, call me. Gave my phone number and everything early April. I never heard boo from the guy. So obviously he's not hearing the noise. Okay, and the only litigious item that he's talking about is the zoning, and the planning department is supposedly working on that. Okay, the whole situation is you get one of the best gun ranges around. It's not run properly. You need to get a certified range coach. I know an individual that does this. He's NRA and USCCA certified. That's the highest level. Coach is the highest level that you can go. And he knows how to put ranges together. He's put them together before. Run this thing like a business. You're in the situation here, now that we have concealed carry, that anybody that passes a 4473 can get a weapon. And there's no requirement for any kind of training. And if anybody remembers the incident in Jenny Springs down in Florida, where a man was shot over a parking spot, the perpetrators were from St. Mary's. Okay? You need to get the training out there. You need to have a training facility. Thursday, I'm going down to Jacksonville to take advanced training because there's no training around here. I mean, this is the whole thing. You could make that a viable project, and you don't need to spend this money for noise because there isn't a problem. You're throwing money at something that there's not a problem, and it would be better spent fixing the damn jail. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else registered?
Yes, Ms. Dongray. Did you want to speak again? You had checked both places.
Good evening again. I'm Dawn Gray, St. Mary's. Our count for the suicide rate in Camden County is we've held steady at 12. I will urge you once again to reconsider your decision to pull mental health consideration off of the strategic plan for Camden County. I'm proud to say that SALT Family Services today paired with the Camden County Sheriff's Office. And our Sheriff's Office recognizes the need for active consideration for addressing both physical and mental wellness as part of the Party in the Park through the collaboration. But I believe that it sends an unpleasant message to those of us in the community with the intentionality of you removing mental wellness from consideration on the strategic plan for next year. Thank you.
Can I say one thing? Hey, I will tell you this, Don. I don't know if you're aware of it, but there's an Overdose Awareness Day, Saturday, August the 31st, at Crooked River State Park. I think everyone should go to that. I don't know if you've ever been affected. I lost a 29-year-old grandniece to a fentanyl overdose last year, as a matter of fact. So that's at Crooked River State Park. They'll have hamburgers and stuff for the kids, but it's an Overdose Awareness Day, if you're not aware of it.
All right, anybody else wish to speak for the board?
Mr. Turner, I think that's significant, and obviously information with regards to substance misuse and substance overdose is significant. But I think that it's misleading though when that's the only conversation regarding suicides here in Camden County, when we've also experienced gunshot wounds and asphyxiation, sir.
Thank you.
But thank you for bringing that information forward.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak before the board?
I'll be nice this time. My daughter received this at her house from the code enforcement officer. Code enforcement officer told her that she had to park 20 feet off of the street, from the center of the street to the off, past the utility easement. That utility easement is there for a reason, for utilities. I understand that. And you can also park on the utility easement. This is just a code enforcement. This is not state law. But you can park on the utility easement as long as you're not on the hard pavement. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak before the board? All right, seeing none, we need a motion to adjourn the regular meeting and convene an executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation and items exempt under OCGA 50-14-3B4. This is for information technology related.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
No rush.
Yeah, we don't want to go home.
All right, now we need a motion to adjourn the executive session and reconvene the regular meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn executive session and resume regular meeting.
Second.
All right, we got a first and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. All right, any action from the executive session?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve IT license renewals in the total amount of $365,243.02.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we're gonna buy some IT stuff. Any, well, everybody in favor? Because we already had our discussion. So, anything else?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve purchase of software for the Camden County Sheriff's Office in the amount of $10,000 pending contract approval by the county attorney.
All right,
Second.
got a first and a second to approve the software. All in favor? Those opposed?
Told them until they get me more information why other people don't want it. I'm not in favor of it.
All right, motion carries 4-1. All right, anything else?
I'd like to make a motion to dismiss.
Second? All in favor for dismissal? We're done.
Thank y'all.
See you in August.